Hello and welcome to another edition of AttractWell Office Hours. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of AttractWell, Greg Kilwine. Hey, Greg.
Hey everyone, really glad you're here again today.
We are. We're excited to be back here. It is another Thursday, another time to get together and learn how to work smarter with your AttractWell system. Today, we are talking about creating a blog funnel. This is the simplest funnel that you can create. You don't need to make a lead magnet. You don't have to get super strategic as to how it ties into your conversion strategy. If you don't have a funnel yet, let this be the first one that you create. And good news, we've made a starter version for you that we're going to show you how to get started with here today. Before we get into that, though, we've got some slides. We're going to be showing and telling, sharing some strategy, and just talking a little bit about how this works. So even if you aren't someone who is actively blogging, it is something you need to be paying attention to. And of course, I'll talk to you about that here on today's call. As you're coming in, head over into the chat, say hello. Let us know what you do. Who do you help? And where are you in the world? We're always excited to learn more about the great people that we are attracting here on this platform. So Greg and I are going to pop out a video so that we can get into the training that we have put together for you here today. If you are here for a live work review, do let us know in the Q&A. I believe I had one person cancel, so we do have additional space. If you'd like to request to take that space and work together live today, go ahead and let us know here live on the call. Happy to hand that over to you if that's something that you're interested in. All right, welcome you guys. Today we're talking about how to build a blog funnel that grows your list automatically without you having to go and create new lead magnets and spend a bunch of time. Now, I do recommend, highly, highly recommend that you check out the Client Funnel Challenge and build the big strategic funnel that converts what you want to convert. But if you don't have time to do that just yet and you need a way to grab people, put them onto your list, this is the best, quickest way to do it. So let's get into it. Today, we're going to talk about why you need a system that nurtures your audience on a weekly basis. We're going to talk about what a blog funnel is and how it works, the three parts of it and how it works in AttractWell, and some best practices and mistakes to avoid. And of course, as always, live help and Q&A. So if you have questions, whether you're coming in with questions, regardless of their subject matter, or if you have questions as I'm going through the training, please feel free to add any questions that you have to the Q&A, even if they don't pertain to today's topic. You've literally got the founder of the platform who built all of this stuff, who's here. Take advantage of that, ask away. Greg is here in the comments. If you would like to come and join us on one of these calls, this is totally free for you. If you are considering getting started with AttractWell, maybe you're using 27 different other platforms and you're tiring of that dance and you'd like to see what it's like to work with us, you can watch these trainings, come join us live, ask questions. And of course, we have a free trial you can take advantage of as well. Hope you come and join us. We're live every Thursday at 2 p.m. US Eastern Time, unless it's a major holiday or we are traveling for a conference. If you would like to work together live, that's an option as well. This is a free opportunity for everybody with an AttractWell account to get hands-on help on Thursdays. Second half of these calls is when we do that. You can sign up for your own spot, reserve that so you know for sure you can work together with me. AttractWell.com/work review. Pick an upcoming Thursday where we'll work together in the second half of these calls. If you'd like to have someone do the work for you, this is also an available and fantastic option. AttractWell.com/concierge. Shout out to our incredibly talented people who build pages, develop systems on the back end, incredible copywriters, just so many talented folks who can help you get what you want done quickly. So if you want to hand that over, go see them. All right. Before we get into this funnel, I want to say a brief little bit about the importance of publishing on a consistent basis. This is one of the things that most business owners overlook because it has the lowest perceived immediate benefit, right? Why would I go and publish 1,000 to 2,500 words a week on a thing that nobody's reading when I need clients right now? I get it, but it's critical that you have published work that's not just you showing up on social media. Really important. This is called legacy content. Legacy content is going to be your long form stuff. So think blog posts, long form YouTube videos, podcasts, legacy content. This is the stuff that builds trust, authority, and long term visibility. The stuff that's going to get you seen, that's going to get you organic traffic long term, right? Really important. So again, this can be podcast episodes, YouTube videos, blog posts, as long as they're substantive and they're published on your blog with AttractWell. You're going to post it like once a week, I think is the sweet spot. I think it's pretty reasonable, especially if you have a system in place. We've got lots of training on these topics. You can, of course, repurpose by embedding or linking content from other platforms. So, say for instance, you are hitting record and talking for 10 minutes a week on YouTube, and that's your content. You can embed that on your AttractWell blog. Maybe you're releasing a podcast. You can embed that on AttractWell as well. Put the link in your show notes on the other hosting platforms. We've got training on that as well. And then, of course, what we're ultimately trying to do here today is to build a funnel around the content that you're publishing every week so that you can nurture your subscribers, so that people are building a you habit, so that they are taking advantage of what you offer, opening your emails when you send them, and ultimately taking action on the things that you're offering when you reach out. So let's talk about a blog funnel and what it is. So, a blog funnel is essentially what we're using to help people subscribe to your weekly content. It's going to deliver updates and build relationship with your subscribers. And the cool thing about a blog funnel is you don't have to go strategically figure out what the free thing is that you're going to offer to get people to say yes. Now, you are going to maybe not have as high of a conversion rate straight onto your blog as you would onto a really spicy lead magnet that somebody might really want, right? But this is a very low-hanging fruit that you can pick and get to work in your business very quickly and easily, especially with the resources that we've put together for you here today, right? So, this is one of the fastest and simplest funnels to create. And no matter what you sell, this is a must-have funnel. All right. So, what's included? A confirmation or initial nurture campaign. I'm going to get into the specifics of this campaign and what you should be using and saying in this campaign here in just a bit. We're also going to have a confirmation page that essentially says, hey, you did it. You signed up for my blog. I'll be sending you stuff. Go check your email, right? And then a landing page that offers these weekly updates and, of course, has them subscribe to the blog. All right, so let's talk about the blog campaign first. This is going to confirm their subscription, but that's just where we're starting here. So, in a really, really simple funnel, you might just have a day zero email that says, hey, you did it. You're going to be hearing from me on Thursdays. So maybe until Thursday rolls around, go read this blog post, right? That's a great starting point. But I want you to treat this a little bit more like you might treat an initial nurture campaign as we teach it in the client funnel challenge, which is a longer term campaign that allows them to get to know you a little better. So, what I really encourage you to do is to have that confirmation message on day zero, but then consider adding at least maybe 3 or 4 additional messages going out every couple of days, light touch emails to allow them to get to know you better and maybe point them in the direction of some of your favorite blog posts, maybe some of the most popular ones, or pointing them to whatever kind of engagement you would like. So each email is going to offer some value. We're going to share a story, we're going to share a past post, an invitation to connect, and we're going to give opportunities to convert, right? So we're going to say book a one-on-one call or join this free group or start a trial. No hard sells here, but opportunities to convert in the funnel toward other things. So offer another free thing of higher value if you have it, or offer your time. And then you can use automations in this campaign to further segment or trigger additional campaigns. So let's just say, for instance, maybe on day 4 of this campaign, you want to offer a free workshop. When they click, yes, I want the free workshop, perhaps that triggers a campaign that sends them access to the recorded video and maybe continues on to sell from there. So think about this as sort of your first step in your communication with your lead. It's an initial nurture campaign, which means we're not selling anything, but we are opening opportunities for people to identify themselves as candidates for sales, where you might use an automation to change your communications with them, right? So let's talk about this recharge weekly is the example I'll be using throughout. I even have some branding for this that you're going to be getting access to as well, and some Canva templates. So the campaign name here is going to be called Blog Subscriber Initial Nurture, right? So what is this? It's for blog subscribers, and it's my initial nurture campaign. Day 0 is welcome, set expectations, and then maybe we can invite them to hit reply or meet us on a social platform. In day two, I'm going to talk about burnout, disconnection, and I'm going to link to a blog post where I discuss this, invite them to reply. Day four, I'm talking about boundary setting, talking about a current blog post that's up, a call to action to maybe have a one-on-one or visit a group. And day six, I'm talking about decision making, questions, related post, optional mini training. You can see here, this is very content forward. It's basically content plus some opportunity to engage, whether that's hit reply, join the group, free thing, etc. Day eight, I'm doing a roundup of some of my top posts, giving a call to action to work together or book a call. And then day 10, I've got a couple of calls to action, letting them know what next steps are, letting them know that they'll be hearing more from me next time I post a blog post. And of course, again, here, no pressure. Now, our confirmation page, again, super simple, short thank you message, reinforce what's coming next for them, and then tell them to check their inbox that's going to receive their day zero message. And optionally, here you can include a link to browse your blog archive or join a group. So it might look a little bit like this. You can see the image is here. You're in. Thanks for signing up. Your first message is already on its way. Check your inbox. And in the meantime, why not dive in now, browse the blog, etc. Right? So this is an example, just a really, really simple confirmation page. And you do have a copy of this that you can use as a starting point yourself. Now, our blog landing page, this is where it all ties together. This is what's going to apply that campaign. It's going to send to that confirmation page. And this is ultimately where they're going to put in their name and email, right? So this is the link that we share where they're going to actually register. So we need to make sure that we're matching our blog branding here. So the name, if you've named your blog, any of the background images that you're using, the tone that you're using, you just want to make sure that this is all congruent with what you're already doing. We want to set clear expectations, such as what the blog's about, how often will they hear from you, and then make it feel this page like an extension of the blog, not just some generic opt-in page. And of course, here we will attach that campaign, add our tag for our subscribers so that we can easily filter for them and send stuff out in the future, and then redirect them to a confirmation page like the one you just saw. And so this is an example here. You can see that top section is telling them that they can sign up, subscribe to this, and it's got a little bit of copy telling them what to expect. They put in their name and email, they sign up, right? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. All right, let's talk about some best practices before we go and dive into this resource bundle. So first, make sure that you have a call to action to subscribe to the blog, every blog post that you release, right? So for every blog post that you create, make sure that you are sharing this link and giving a call to action for them to subscribe so they never miss a post. I will show you how you can do this once and it will apply forever. I'll do that here in just a bit. You want to include that landing page link in your link in bio on your social platforms and in your community groups. Use tags, of course, to segment your blog subscribers for later offers. Send bonus messages or replays to your blog list. Of course, with context, you have to remember why people signed up, why they said yes to something, and always make sure that you are staying congruent with that messaging. And then just remember that your blog subscribers are warm leads, not just readers. These are people who decided that they liked what you had to say enough that they want to commit to hearing what you have to say long term. Honor that. Be excited about that, right? Like, these are people who want to hear what you have to say. So show up for them and it will reward you plentifully. All right. So some mistakes to avoid here before we move on and dive into this stuff. Remember that if you aren't creating content for your brand, now is the time to start. Right. You really want to make sure that you're getting into a weekly rhythm of publishing because if you aren't showing up regularly, the work that you've done previously for people to pay attention to what you're doing, they're going to forget about you and all of that effort will be lost, right? Consistency is the name of the game. Fail forward here. You're not going to be perfect at the outset, no matter what methodology you're using. If you're blogging, if you're podcasting, if you're creating video, you're not going to get around the fact that the first handful or even dozen are not going to be your best, but you're only going to get better by doing it, right? So make sure that you are consistently showing up, creating that content so that you could take advantage of this long term. And so, very importantly, you have something to talk about when you show up in the inbox of your subscribers on a weekly basis, which is the thing you have to make sure you're doing here, right? Make sure that we aren't just sending a day zero email. There is a great opportunity here to send at least a couple more messages in this initial nurture welcome campaign for the blog. So that they can get to know you, they can understand a little bit better some of what's already there. Really just taking that opportunity right after someone said yes to get them to say yes again, right? Send them another blog post, send them an opportunity to book a one-on-one, join a free group, or find some other way for them to exchange with you in greater depth. Also, really make sure that you have a tag that you're using for your list in this particular purpose, right? So you might call this newsletter, you might call this blog subscriber, whatever you want to call it, make sure it's consistent and that you're connecting with them regularly. And then also, you want to make sure that in this campaign, you aren't pitching. This is really about building trust and a list of people who want to hear from you in the long run. And we can absolutely run them off if, as soon as they show up and say, "Oh, I think you're interesting," you try to take advantage of that right away and move them on to have them buy something, right? You can present secondary opportunities for them to opt in, like that example I mentioned previously. Use an automation link to have them say yes to a workshop that you offer in this campaign, where they can watch a free workshop video, and then of course once they engage with that workshop video, you can then send sales messages, right? And then, of course, make sure you're doing that, right? So if you are trying to segment further or you're wanting to present opportunities to sell, use automations to do this because everyone is not in the same bucket, right? People who are ready to be sold need the opportunity to show that that is who they are. And you want to make sure that you're not jumping the gun with those who are not. All right. So let's go grab our resources. You'll see here when you go to claim your resource bundle that there's a blog landing page and a newsletter template saved reply. You'll see actually when you claim this, it's going to have quite a bit more because the page has several things attached to it. And I have some Canva templates for you here as well so that you can make sure that this is all congruently branded. So let's go see this in action and then get into our live help and Q&A. So here is the resource bundle. I'm in the Jane account here. I'm going to go ahead and click this here. And before I click claim, I'm going to just open in a new tab all of these Canva templates so that we can take a look at them really quickly. So this is the blog header. And so this is one that you would actually put onto your blog. You would brand your blog with an image like this one. Obviously, if you're not going to call yours the recharge and have these gorgeous trees, then you don't need to do that. But you can use this as a starting point, and then you can actually see that these are all versions of the same thing, right? So this is what's going to be on the page where we are offering the newsletter, and this is going to be in the newsletters themselves, which you'll see here in just a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and claim this. And you can see here, here's our blog landing page. Let's go check that out here. This is the one that I showed you guys previously. If we go in and we look at the published version of this, people can put in their name and email here, and they will be able to sign up. And you can see here on the back end, if I go down here under leads, after a lead registers, I've got a tag here that I'm using to segment this list. It's called blog updates. You can change this to your liking. The campaign is already attached here, and the confirmation page is as well. So if you want to change any information that's showing here, if you want to, change the copy for the lead capture, the button color, all of that, you can obviously change this page to your heart's content. You can swap out this image by using this Canva template that I've created for you here if you want to make this look like your own. Again, making sure that it reflects the branding that you use on your actual blog. The confirmation page is a really simple one here. It doesn't go anywhere except for your blog. And actually, this link here, you don't have to mess with because it's actually just going to go to the blog digest on your website. So you can change the color if you want, maybe to one that is in the color palette for your brand, up to you. And again, you can swap out that image just like the one that we used on the landing page. The campaign, I want to call to your attention a couple of things. You are, of course, going to want to change this campaign completely because this needs to reflect your voice, your blog, right? And the blog post that you've written. But really quickly, day zero, I have set up with this newsletter heading, this branding here. So you can see the images here. And then I've got a welcome message, what you can expect, suggesting that they add you to their primary senders or their safe senders list, and giving them an opportunity to engage, maybe follow on social, right? But the subsequent messages, because this is a nurture campaign, I'm not going to have them look like the newsletter because these are nurture messages and this is a newsletter message. And I'm going to show you how you can create consistent newsletter messages here in just a bit. But here, day 2 through 10 here, um, they're going to have pretty brief examples. You can go longer by all means. If you are more verbose, be it, right? Really lean into this as an opportunity for them to get to know you and for those expectations to be set, right? So here again, you've got prompts and examples, right? You could link to previous blog posts here, talk about topics that you've discussed elsewhere. Now, there's one more piece of this bundle that I want to bring your attention to, and that is this saved reply. And essentially, what this is a resource for you to show up every week and have the same consistent visual branding and formatting, right? So I want you to go in here and swap out the name of the blog, use this, let me see, blog newsletter header as a template, right? To swap out here for this image. And you can give, again, follow along with the prompts that are here. You can give copy here that reflects your brand, your blog, and everything that you talk about. You can give a little bit of some insights. You can give in ideas about how they can take those insights and apply them to their life. Obviously, you want to point them to your blog post. And then you can show them, of course, in every email what it looks like for them to connect with you. If you don't want silly emojis like I have here, you could certainly change those or get rid of them. Right. So use this. Go ahead in the saved reply here and set this up so that it is as close to the replicable version that you would want to use when you mail your list every week. And so once you have a blog post ready to publish, perhaps you've scheduled it, you could go and filter your list for that tag that we are including. Let me go back here and find, yeah, this tag, which again, you're going to find the tag that you're using right here under what to do after a lead registers that is in the lead settings on your blog landing page. You filter your contacts for this tag, and then you just drop in that saved reply. And you add in your link to your blog post and you get that all set up and ready to go, right? So it's a complete system for you to easily follow on a weekly basis. Now, I did promise I was going to show you how to make a couple of changes to your blog and how it's set up to make your life really easy to this end. So let me go ahead and do that. We're going to come over here to blog posts where you're then going to find settings. So I'm going to go to settings here. And under personalization options, you actually can see here, I have an image included here. Now, what I would be doing here is using this blog header. So I'm going to go to edit template here. Actually, not, I'm going to use this for a new design. Sorry, I don't want to actually change the one that I've given you. There we go. All right. So let's just pretend that I love this and it's exactly what I want to use. I'm going to download it. And I can then go over to my blog settings here and swap out my image with the one that I have just downloaded. So there that is there. Voila, good to go. It's going to take a minute to upload, but all we're doing is just adding an image. And when I go to save changes, you'll actually be able to see them published on the site. This is going to show up at the top of the blog. But before I move forward from here, I do want to call your attention to this individual post footer. This is where I want you to include the opportunity for people to subscribe to your blog, right? So, love what you read here, subscribe for updates, add me to the list. Now, I need to put a link in here to the page on my site, and that is going to be this one right here, right? Subscribe to Recharge Weekly, right? That is the blog landing page. When you hit view or you click copy link from the list, or you could see the published version and just copy that URL. I'm going to pop that in right here, paste, and update. So let me see if this is done uploading. It is great. So I'm going to come right over here and click Save Changes. And if I go back to my dashboard and view the site, and I go to the blog, you can see that I've got that image up here at the top. And if I go to one of my blog posts and I scroll down to the bottom, you can see here that this is going to be here, whether I wrote it into the post or not, it's going to be right here at the bottom of every blog post I create. So there we go. Sign me up. So now this is going to show up even on my old posts. So here's an old post. Scroll to the bottom, it's there, right? So make sure that you have this in place. And again, that's going to be right over here. If you go to blog posts, go to the settings, be sure that you're branding your blog. If you want to use an image, you can, like I've done here, but definitely make sure that you are linking in the individual post footer to your landing page for people to subscribe to the blog. All right. So let me see if I've got any questions here that we can get to before we start moving into live work. Hey, Abigail, I'll be bringing you out in just a moment. Thank you for your patience. Yulia says, I have a question related to blog posting. Would like to chat. Okay, excellent. I will bring you out right after I bring Abigail out. I think, Greg, I think maybe you've been busy in the in the chat here. Welcome everybody. Hey, New Yorkers. Me too. It's gorgeous here in the city. It's cooler. And thankfully, thankfully it's cooler for me for now. Excellent. 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 Glad to have you guys here today. If you have questions that you would like for me to address here live, please make sure that you pop those into the Q&A so that I can make sure that I get to them because this chat today is chatty. So I can't scroll through and read all of it while we're live here on the call. So feel free, please, to go ahead and add your questions to the Q&A and I will bring you out or address you directly here. Abigail, how about I go ahead and bring you out and let's talk about what you want to work on today. How can we help?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I don't even remember what I wrote when I signed up for the work review because I had literally just signed up for AttractWell. But I'm really in the very beginning stages of building my business. And so I also am very new to like anything technology related. I've never had to create a website before. I've never done any of this. So I have started building my website and I would just love a little bit of feedback in terms of what you think it looks like so far.
Yeah. Okay.
My branding colors are, they are a little bit bolder. So sometimes I look at it and I'm like, wow, is that too much? I don't know. Um, like I said, it's very basic right now, but yeah, I just love your feedback.
I I don't think that there's any issue with this at all.
Oh,
So if you're going to be using brighter colors,
yeah.
it's most important that you make sure that you have a focus on legibility
Okay.
and that there's and forgive me because this is actually not something that I'm formally trained in,
Sure.
but I can give you the vibes assessment. You want to make sure there's breathing room, basically. If you're going to use a lot of colors, you need enough negative space, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So and I actually think that you've done a nice job with that here.
Okay.
One thing that I would recommend that you do is again just kind of giving that sort of negative space and breathing room. I would add padding. to the
Okay.
sections, just to you want to embrace the scroll. You don't want
Gotcha.
everything to be super visible, like when somebody lands on a page. That said, I mean, it's nice looking, like it's not clunky, it's well organized, it's not too much copy in any particular place. But what I would
Right.
do here, yeah, is just to go to the background padding here and just give a little bit more space at the top and a little bit more space at the bottom.
Okay.
And just so that way, like the images that are in here, like they've got a nice border around them. And we would
Sure.
repeat that for this one as well. And that actually gives the eye a little bit more opportunity to appreciate the colors that you've chosen, right? Because like
Okay.
this sunny yellow, which
Yeah.
the colors go fantastically well with this image, um, it needs that space. Similarly, where we're talking about copy, where you do have a slightly larger block of copy here, my recommendation would be, especially if it's a longer sentence like this one, is to break them
Mm.
up. It's not how we would normally write. It feels weird at first. Um,
Yeah.
but we're not writing for our English professors. We're
Right.
writing for hyper distractible brains on the internet. So
Okay.
the more visual breathing room you give something, the easier it is for someone to digest it. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, and then this one as well, I would give some space to,
These two.
particularly on the bottom, just to kind of give some balance between the top and bottom. But yeah,
Okay.
no, that's a great starting point.
Oh,
Um,
awesome. Thank you.
yeah. Who knew? It's that simple. Another thing too that you can look at if you go to like look at these different um how they look on these different sort of
Yes.
resolution sizes, that's another one to kind of check. So we can see here that we actually need to add some spacing underneath the button in that first column so that it doesn't
Okay.
butt up against that image. Um,
So if I
yeah.
do that, will
Mhm.
it will it will it change it'll change it on all, every view?
So here's what I'm going to do here. It's not really going to change anything significantly.
Oh.
Um, oh, it's same. Um, okay, let me go find where that was. Contact me is what I'm looking for. And I'm just going to do contact. There it is. Okay. And I'm just going to add a break here, which is just inside of these little pointy brackets, a
Yeah.
BR. And that should, hang on just a second. That's going to the contact. And do you have this green button? Is this in your, yes, your green is here. So here's what I'm going to do just to make life a little easier. I'm going to unlink it, hit enter, maybe twice, and I'm going to rehyperlink this and put in contact. When
Okay.
in doubt, just do things. Here we go. Green. There we go. So
Okay,
now,
that makes sense.
yeah. All right. Because that now you don't have to worry about code.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
You see the space right there?
Yes.
So that works a little bit better. Here, I do this typically if I have an image in a section like on the left-hand side, put your
Hmm.
cursor right here. Do you see where it's kind of blinking on the right? Just
Yep.
barely.
Yep.
Enter. That is real
Oh,
coders would laugh at me for doing that, but here's what it does. You can now see there is space between these two,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that it's so interesting how you can just kind of play with stuff like that and make it different.
Yeah, and for your peace of mind, we now have undo buttons.
Right. Yeah, that's so helpful too. Because
The
I
other
I
thing
did actually I screwed up a whole bunch of stuff last week trying to change formatting of columns, and then when I looked at it on the phone preview, everything was cut off and I was just like I don't know what to do. So I restarted those sections and now
yeah.
it's
So I am going to just kind of follow the rest of what I was saying here and break these up because this is a
yeah,
just sort of
create a
like
little
an
more space.
initial section. Um, I
Yep.
don't know why this is not wanting to align to the center, but I'm gonna, this is
Huh.
weird. I'm gonna play around with that for a second here, but do you see how this is now kind of, it's giving a little bit more space,
Yes, I do. And it's
right?
kind of aligned with the picture a little bit better as well.
Yeah, and the other thing that I want to do here is just increase the top and bottom padding just a little bit more because there's this sort of above the fold uh, space that we're kind of trying to do on a desktop where do you see how it's
Yep.
you can't see the
Yep.
bottom underneath it?
Yep.
Yeah. So that is I would say that this is going to be more effective for you as a top section, just because
Yep.
it's usually if you can get them here, you've got them. But if
Right.
you lose them here, they're gone forever,
They're
right?
gone. Yeah. They're
Yeah,
not going to keep scrolling.
yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
scrolling is good.
Yeah.
Scrolling is
Yeah.
good because like the thicker block of text it looks like, the less likely someone is going to want to keep reading. And that's why, even though it feels really strange, a sentence is often a paragraph.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Okay. Thank you. That's so helpful.
Did you want to look at anything else, or was that it?
There's nothing else I really have to look at. My only other question is sort of, I'm trying to decide where to go next. Like I want to, so I have a few digital products that I have not posted yet, but they will be going up in my store at some point soon. I'd like to get going on a blog. And, I guess that's more of like a coaching question versus a like technical question, but just kind of trying to like make myself a timeline of how I want to move through things.
Okay.
Um,
Do you have a list yet?
I don't have a list. So I'm currently a therapist, and unfortunately, like because of ethics and stuff, I can't take my current list with me. So
Hmm.
I'm sort of rebuilding.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a list because I've had just like a part-time private practice for so long that they're just my people.
Yeah.
I haven't like created a lot of content and stuff. So no, I really need to nurture things from the ground up.
Okay. Well, since these are your people, as you
Yeah.
say, and they probably know where you are
Yeah.
on social, the ethical way to have anyone, including people who already know you, join your list, is to give them a reason, right? So
Yeah.
I'd start with the blog. Start with the blog,
Yeah.
have a
Okay.
newsletter, and start working that way because that's going
Yeah.
to get any conversion that is, low-hanging fruit for you in the network that you already have.
Sure.
And it gives you a reason to be showing up and talking about things that's not just, hey, you could buy stuff from me.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, sure thing.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Hope you come out again. Great work.
I will.
Yay. Awesome. All right, Yulia, let's talk about blogs with you. Hi.
Hi, Ashley. Hi, everyone. Thank you. I just recently started posting blogs in my pianoonlineschool.com more regularly. And I have a question. I was following the one of the trainings you did prior with the templates from Canva, so that was super helpful just to kind of like follow along and do it accessible as I was watching the video. So that was really great. Thank you for that. I have a question about one of the options on the very bottom in advanced options on the blog posting. It says custom HTML tags. Do I need to do anything with that to?
No, no, you don't. If and actually I might, Greg, can you give an example of what that's used for? I don't think I've ever used a custom HTML tag on a blog.
Sure, let me come out of my little cave here. Uh, yeah, the custom HTML. I think that's mostly for Pinterest has this rich pin feature, and they give you some code that you can plug into each blog post because it does something that I can't remember offhand, but it like tells Pinterest what type of post it is and where to categorize it and maybe which board you put it on or something like that.
That's
There's some
right.
little code that you can drop in
Oh,
there.
that's perfect
I
because I
mean,
recently also started to create the content on Pinterest. So that'd be great if it can be already built in. So I'm gonna start digging more into that.
we actually have a
Fantastic.
help article. I'll drop it in the
Yeah,
chat here quick.
yeah, that's right. Um, it's been a while since we've done any trainings on Pinterest, but yeah, actually, I'm recalling that now that Greg says it. There's a way to globally add Pinterest code to your website, but that automatically makes literally every image on your website something that's pinnable. And I find that a little distracting visually and strategically. Like if it's showing up on a sales page, like pin this image on a sales page, I don't think that that's ideal. But if you're wanting to use this for your blog specifically, then you're just going to want to make sure that that is here. And as a general rule, one of the things that you can do is sort of create a blog post that has that HTML tag from Pinterest and all of the formatting and everything that you want to use. And then you can actually, in your list of blog posts, you can duplicate. So basically have one that's unpublished that you use
Oh,
as
you
sort
have
of a
opened
template
it.
for all the other ones.
That's great. Can you take a look since you have it open, my latest blog post, just to see if kind of like proportion between the images and everything looks okay?
Yeah, I would give maybe some space between the quote here, right? Do
Mhm,
you see how maybe we could add an additional space here? Because I think
mhm.
where we have something like this, we really want people to like, we want to draw the eye to it.
Got it.
Um, okay. Yeah, same here as
Same
well.
here.
Are
And
your
also,
um are
uh,
your headings set to large? Here, let's go to colors and
from the
fonts again.
training, I thought like if I put it as a heading one, so it's for the keyword and
Mm-mm.
SEO purpose.
Yeah.
Um,
So, so just so you know, this is going to show up automatically as heading one,
mhm,
right? And it's okay, like it's heading one or heading two is what you want like a lot of your keywords to be in. And so you can use heading two. I think this looks like it might be a heading two or three. So yeah, you don't have to use H1 throughout. It's often a bit large, just size wise. But I think it being in H2, because you're already automatically, just because AttractWell is going to take the title of the blog post and put it in H1. Um, you can use H2. That's what I generally do, is I'll allow the title to be H1 and then the subtitles throughout are going to be H2.
mhm. And in this particular blog post, I give two call to actions. First, to download my PDF, like workbook, and
Hmm.
also invitation to join my private Facebook group. Is that okay to give them two call to actions in one post?
Yeah, it's okay. It's not optimal, but it's okay. I would potentially space them out further, maybe not right next to each other, unless they are maybe directly related, like this is a step one, step two, in which case I
Mhm,
don't think there's any harm at all. Um, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. You're just going to see less action taken overall, right? If you're using two. Generally speaking, I would maybe like so for like this join the supportive Facebook group, I would
mhm,
go into in your blog settings and maybe put that in the footer of all of your blog posts by going to settings over here under personalization, maybe have that
mhm,
in the individual post footer. You could potentially put that in the sidebar as well. So that could actually show up over here above the blog categories.
mhm,
If you want everyone who sees any blog post to know that you've got a supportive community for musicians,
mhm,
that could actually be over here, and then it shows up everywhere, and that's fine. And then the blog post can just be about the blog post, and if the
mhm,
download is very specific to the blog post, then it can really, take up the primary space as a call to action as it needs. But they'll
mhm.
still be able to see those other opportunities on the page if you have it in the sidebar or as the footer.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for this recommendation because I wasn't aware of that personalized option. So I'm definitely going to explore it more. And can I ask you one more question related to blog
Absolutely.
posting?
Yeah, of course.
So the statistics, is there any way that I can actually like review my statistics, which blog post is, have more clicks or is there any way to kind of like measure of the my blog posts?
Yeah, so you're actually going to see the number of views if you actually hover over. You
Mhm,
can see day over day uh, where those are looking like. So you can actually see the individual posts
mhm,
and the number of I believe those are all for views specifically. And you can see the different, yeah, they're all outlined here. And so
Mhm.
that you can see those there. I don't, I think higher plan levels will give you a little bit more insight, right? Like so with each plan level we have graduating up, there's more analytics that get tracked, but you can definitely see day over day down here
Yes,
under
I'm just
activity.
about to upgrade back again since I'm have more material to my program, Piano and Voice Fusion program. So I definitely will be upgrading it soon.
Awesome.
Great. Thank you so much, Ashley. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's been very helpful. Thank you.
good. Thanks for
Thank you,
coming
Greg.
out. I love all of these great on-topic questions today. Abigail says, is there a place to see all resource bundles or at least those related to blogs as I get started on that? So I started a project fairly recently of releasing, oh, I shared that prematurely, releasing blog posts with the trainings that we're putting out and their related resource bundles. But that's not a retroactive one as of this moment. Got a few other irons on the fire. So um, let me show you where you can go to find historical stuff that we will, have a practice of migrating over as we can, the older stuff. So under live training and replays, generally speaking, if it's something that I teach on one of these calls, if there's a resource, it's going to be in the description of the YouTube channel. And now, or the YouTube video rather, in its description. Now, instead of linking straight to the resource bundle, it's going to link to the related blog post if there is one. Um, so what I would do here is maybe type in blog and it'll take you to the trainings that are here. Blog and content branding systems, though this was 2 years ago, it is still, I think, really the most up to date. I also have SEO here. Again, about as up to date as you're going to get. SEO as its basic context pertain to how you use it. It's not going to change a great deal. So any of the resource bundles that you may be looking for are going to be in these related ones. In particular, this is going to be a resource bundle heavy one because I'm showing you branding. So I would maybe check that one out. And then, of course, as we move forward, you can expect that the blog post will actually be uh, in the description, and then you'll actually be able to just search it on the AttractWell blog. But until then, you can also search our YouTube channel. Hope that that helps. Let me see. Yes, H1 is big, Denny. That's right. Okay, so the blog post activity is for the blog, not the blog post. So yeah, you're actually seeing, well, you're seeing visitor activity on the blog post. You're seeing in Yulia's case with the tracking that she has access to, you can see which blog posts are getting viewed in what volume on what days. Yeah. Let me see. Thought you started with H2 because it wasn't as important or searchable. H2 is absolutely important and searchable. Think about it like this. H1, okay, like when you create a Harvard outline in in a a word processor software, you've got your Roman numeral one, and then you tab in and it's A, and then you tab in and it's a number one, and then you tab in and it's like a lowercase a, right? That's like H1, H2, H3, H4, etc., right? So a search engine is going to look at your content and scrutinize it in the same way that it might try to scrutinize an academic paper, because the people who created these search engines, they're academics, right? Like these are based on academic principles, and the organization of data inside of an article should follow that flow. And that's kind of why that recommendation of the H1, H2, et cetera, with the keywords is made for SEO, because they want to see that things are organized topically in a way that makes sense so that they can feel good about recommending you to their customers, which are people who search, right? So typically, the title or the thesis, the subject matter, the main topic is going to be in H1, but you're generally not going to be using H1 throughout the rest of the document because, you usually just make the main point once, right? but you have a bunch of subpoints. So H2 is what you're probably going to want to be using throughout. Now, H1 is an option because on pages, you may choose to do this a bit differently, but on blog posts, we've already got your H1 covered when you type in the title of the blog post. We're going to give you H1. It's already coded into the system when you put that in there, but then you're going to want to go in and H2 all of your headings. I hope that that makes sense. Okay. Have another question about the About Me page. Can I remove contact me to a different call to action? Yeah, totally. I mean, anytime you have a call to action on a page, let me go back into your account here and we can take a look at that and I can show you what to do. Okay, I'll have this share up in just a second.
Okay, thank you.
All right, where do you want to send them?
Since it's about me, I wanted to send them to read my story, blog post about me, because it's a little bit longer to fit in the about me
Oh,
page.
oh,
And I
you're talking
just
about the My Story and
must,
Photo.
because this is the
Ah,
only page I have for now. Should I
got you.
create like a homepage and maybe do something different on the homepage?
So right here, you can, so you're sending them to a URL from here. Um, what you could continue using this, right? If you want to use this, it's going to show, underneath your blog posts, etc. I would add a little bit more copy because you are giving a call to action to send them to a specific place. And then you could just maybe put underneath here if you have questions about how we can work together. Click the button below to get in touch, right? And because this is always going to have a contact button, right? If you're
Got it.
going to use this, and you don't have to use this, right? You can just use pages that you would fully customize on your site for this purpose. But this built-in feature is always going to
Mhm,
have a contact button, which is going to pop up
mhm.
whatever phone number you have associated, email address, etc. So yeah, if you're going to use this, I would just, obviously give all of the pointing and calling to action to the link that you really want them to use, and then just specify what the button on the bottom is really there for.
Yeah, that's a
So
good connecting phrase. Thank you, Ashley.
yeah, sure thing. I'm going to save that and I'll let you go back and make those
Thank you.
adjustments how you like. Okay, Denny had a good question here. Is there any way that is simple to not have my home address published? Yeah, you can get a business address. The way to do this can be quite affordable. But yeah, no, if you're going to be sending out email marketing on the internet via email, you must have published on your website an address, and it needs to be a real one. And it cannot be, like a PO box. It needs to be a real address. And I highly encourage you to not have your personal home address there. So I use personally, and there are other sources that you could use. I'm not paid to say this. I use iPostal1, all one word, iPostal1. Um, and I pay annually. It's like 100 something dollars. They receive mail for me too. I mean, I live in New York City. I certainly don't want anybody to have my home address. But then I also, because I'm incorporated, I want my business mail to go to them and all that kind of good stuff, right? So to me, it's worth it. They are global. So, if you're not in New York City, there's other options for you too. So iPostal1 is what I use. And again, they not only function as a business address for you, they can also retrieve, hold, send out your business mail. And so that would actually give you an address that you can use. And that address that you use, and let me not be in Yulia's account for this. Let me get into our example account and I'll show you where exactly all this stuff shows up. Now with AttractWell, speaking of addresses, you can also have a custom phone number and that you can actually set that up by going to chat right here. And so that's a business line, it's a VoIP line. When you have that set up, it can forward to your phone number. You text back and forth with people from it right here in AttractWell. And if you put it over here in your contact info, it'll also show up as your contact information on your site. Yes, Denny, that's right. It's ipostal1.com. Um, So yeah, you would put in your phone number, and I would again use the one that you set up through AttractWell, not your personal one, unless you already have a business phone number that you are publicly making available. Your street address here would need to be whichever one you have set up for your business. But yeah, it is fully against the law to not have a physical address listed when you are sending out bulk mail from the internet. That's a big rule. In particular in Europe, that is a massively big deal, a very expensive mistake to make, not doing that. And here it can be a bit pricey as well. So do make sure that you have a business address if you don't want to use your personal. And I think that privacy is worth the, $100 a year or whatever it is that I pay for it. All right, let me see if we have any more questions. We can hang out for a few more minutes if you guys want to look at anything together. We have more training in the pipeline, stuff you want to learn about. And of course, we're always looking for suggestions. If you guys are looking for something, if you want maybe a refresh on something that you've learned in the past, we are always taking requests. Can you show the phone number again or how to set that up? Yes, absolutely. So if you go in AttractWell from your dashboard, look for you and your name and go to My Contact Info. And this is where you're going to put in the information that you want people to see. So this needs to be the email address that's associated with your domain. So if you have, dennyswebsite.com, it needs to be denny@dennyswebsite.com right here, right? The phone number that you have that you want to have published for your business, the address that you want to have published for your business. You can choose to not have it show on your website by not having this checked. But you, of course, you do have to have this in certain places, and we take care of that in the system, but it does have to be in there and be in there correctly. So where you can go if you want to create a phone number is you go to chat right here. If you don't have one set up yet, we're actually going to show you a prompt of where to go to sign up for one and to pick the phone number that you want to use, etc. All right, let's see. I have an LLC, but need to change address because it is a PO box now. How difficult is that? So it kind of depends. I mean, when you change your business address, you do need to file forms with typically your Secretary of State's office, with the IRS, etc. If you set your LLC up through a service, there are many that do this. Often for a nominal fee, they'll make those changes for you. It's not, it's a worthwhile thing to do because it needs to be done. Um, it's certainly not a fun thing to do, and there are some people who I think can take care of it for you for a reasonable price if you really don't want to bother with it. All right, for some reason my AttractWell number doesn't work. How can I use it? So what you want to do is go and make sure that if you want to verify whatever the one is that you have set up, you want to go right here to chat, and you'll actually see the one that's connected to your account right here, right? Or sorry, right here, my number, right? So if that's there, then you should be good to go. Unless for some reason you may have deactivated use of that through us, maybe check with support if there are issues there. But you should be able to text this number. And when you do text this number from another line, of course, a chat will come up where, you're able to connect with that contact and go back and forth there. But if it's not working for you, definitely reach out to our team and they can help you troubleshoot. All right. If you guys are not a member of our Facebook community, I hope that you will come and join us there. That is, here, let's go take a quick look at it together in case you guys don't know. AttractWell, Facebook. I'm in here every now and then. Certainly love having you guys there. That is facebook.com/groups/AttractWell. It's a fantastic place to go and connect with other people in community who are doing great things with AttractWell. You can get really quick, insightful answers from our team. Let me know what you want to learn about next. And of course, we just love having that opportunity to hang out with you guys. So thanks for being here and thanks for joining us there. We'll see you back here same time next week. Take care, everybody.